recognized what segregation was. A very rigid line that separated races. That's the system that was in place. I was part of that young activist group that was all over the South. I had come back home to South Carolina. Everybody understood that now is the time for you to engage in the kind of protest that will make a difference, because we are tackling the issue of segregation. Many of the students who went out on those demonstrations had no idea whether or not they put themselves at risk. This was the only opportunity they were going to ever have to change their circumstances. Do you understand that? No, you don't. I'm a 19-year-old. I'm going into an area where it is violent prone, plans and everything. The police ain't on your side. But if I had to think about it and think about what could have happened, what happens in the school? I was a young student in school with responsibility and telling us about Du Bois, or Booker T. Washington, or Mary McLeod Bethune, or some African Americans who were successful and
using children
and struggled in spite of segregation. The thing that happened during that early period for me was a young man by the name of Emmett Till. Emmett Till is no more than 13 years old. They beat him and shot him and threw him in the Pearl River in Mississippi. And then I see Emmett Till's head on the cover of Jet magazine. It does not look like a child. It does not look like a human being. And so the question for many of us youngsters, and certainly many of those people who were engaged in the early stages of the civil rights movement, was, what has Emmett Till done to cause somebody to respond to him in this manner? And from 1962, when I went to Howard, until 1968, I was involved in some active part of the civil rights movement. And as a result of going to Howard, I began to become more engaged in protest activities. I was at the March on Washington. I was involved with the Mississippi Summer Project, 1964, where Goodman, Shirley, and Cheney were murdered in Mississippi. I was in Selma. I made all those rounds. Confrontation is going to happen if somebody doesn't intervene. I didn't know what it was going to be. I knew that they were going to probably try to put me in the middle of it. And the barrel of the gun just so happened to point directly at my house. And I certainly was not trying to encourage students to engage in protests at night. I had enough experience to know that's suicidal. You never want to get out with police at night. Something bad's going to happen, and probably to you. The sky lit up. Now, we were talking about this about 10:30 at night. The sky lit up, and just the firing went on. What the state does is the state makes a statement about, the governor makes a statement about what he says happened. Full of lies, distorted, and then they put a cover over it. They had to stop the students because the students were coming into the line and they overpowered them. And that's how the main story got out, the main lie got out. That's the history, that's the way it's written. I have some concerns about how we allow truth to get shoved off into the corner and we never go back and address that kind of issue. We don't correct those errors that were made some time ago.